Malik's grip tightens on the steering wheel as the blue lights flash behind him, their glow bouncing off the dashboard. His breath slows, every movement deliberate. Officer Harlan's flashlight beam cuts through the darkness, pausing on Malik's face, then drifting to the expensive watch on his wrist. The officer's presence fills the space, a wordless warning. Malik lowers his window, the cool air brushing his skin. Harlan's voice is clipped as he asks for license and registration, his eyes never leaving Malik's hands. Malik complies, keeping his motion slow and visible. The neighborhood is quiet, but behind curtains, someone peeks out, watching the scene unfold. Malik's phone vibrates in the cup holder, a reminder about tomorrow's ceremony, ignored for now. Harlan glances at the address on Malik's ID, his jaw tightening. "You sure you're not lost?" he asks, suspicion heavy in his tone. Malik's answer is calm, but his heart pounds. The officer's gaze sweeps the car's spotless interior, searching for something out of place. Malik's gold cufflink catches the light as he shifts, the only sign of his status. Harlan's pen hovers over the ticket pad, but he hesitates, uncertainty flickering across his face. With a muttered warning to stay out of trouble, Harlan slams the patrol car door and drives off, leaving Malik alone with the echo of accusation. Malik lets out a long breath, the weight of the encounter settling in his chest. The world outside resumes, but nothing feels the same. Before the story continues, please let us know from where you are watching this video. Write your city or country in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like if you believe in stories that challenge injustice. Your engagement gives power to voices that need to be heard. Harlan's gloved hand raps against the glass, the sound sharp in the quiet street. Malik rolls down the window, his face calm, but every muscle taut beneath his suit. Harlan's gaze darts between Malik's ID and the car's spotless interior, searching for any excuse to escalate. The officer's voice is flat as he instructs Malik to step out. Malik complies, moving with deliberate care, his eyes never leaving Harlan's face. The neighborhood remains still. A porch light flickers on, but no one intervenes. Standing beside the car, Malik feels the weight of Harlan's scrutiny. The officer's eyes scan his wallet, his registration, his pressed shirt, looking for a flaw that isn't there. Malik's voice, steady but edged with frustration, breaks the tension. "Is there a problem, officer?" Harlan pauses, pen hovering over the ticket pad, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. He doesn't answer, just keeps searching for a reason to justify the stop. Malik's patience holds, but the humiliation simmers beneath the surface, a passing. Dog barks, breaking the standoff for a moment. Harlan's jaw tightens as he finally hands back the documents, his authority unsettled by Malik's calm. He offers no apology, just a curt nod, as if the exchange is routine. Malik stands a little, taller as the patrol car pulls away, the unspoken accusation still hanging in the air. The street returns to quiet, but Malik knows the script by heart, the suspicion, the search, the silent demand to prove he belongs. Malik stands beside his car, the night pressing in. His suit jacket hangs perfectly, but his posture is tense, shoulders squared against the cold. Officer Harlan circles him, the uniform's patches catching the streetlight. Harlan's stance is rigid, chin lifted, trying to project control. Malik's eyes meet his, unwavering, refusing to shrink. The only sounds are distant traffic and Harlan's boots scuffing the pavement. A neighbor's blinds shift, a thin face barely visible in the window. Malik notices, but keeps his focus on Harlan, refusing to be reduced to a spectacle. Harlan glances at the car's emblem, then at Malik's polished shoes, searching for a crack in the image. His fingers drum against the radio clip to his chest, a nervous tick he can't hide. "Nice car," Harlan mutters, the words more accusation than compliment. Malik doesn't respond, letting the remark hang. The gap between them is more than physical. It's years of assumptions, of being sized up and dismissed. Harlan's jaw works as he weighs his next move, the badge on his chest suddenly heavy. Malik's breathing is slow, measured. He adjusts his cuff, a silent statement of dignity. The officer's hand hovers near his belt, not threatening, but reminding Malik of the power imbalance. Harlan clears his throat, eyes narrowing. "You work around here?" The question is flat, but Malik senses the challenge beneath it. "I do," Malik answers, voice even. He doesn't elaborate. The quiet stretches thick with everything unspoken. Harlan shifts his weight, the confidence in his stance beginning to falter. Malik stands his ground, the tailored suit and the uniform locked in a standoff that's about more than this night. It's about who gets to belong and who's forced to prove it. Harlan studies Malik's identification, his brow furrowing as he reads the address. The disbelief is evident in his voice when he finally speaks. "This your place?" Malik nods, gaze steady, refusing to look away. The officer's grip on the ID tightens, knuckles paling as if holding onto authority. By force alone. The street is hushed. The only movement is the slow drift of leaves across the curb. Malik answers, his tone cool. "Yes, that's my home." The words land between them, heavy and unyielding. Harlan's eyes flick from the address to Malik's face, searching for something that will make this make sense. He finds nothing. The badge on his chest feels heavier with each passing second. He clears his throat, but the confidence from earlier is gone, replaced by a quiet uncertainty. A car passes, headlights sweeping over the two men. Harlan steps back, the ID still in his hand, as if he's not ready to return it. Malik waits, patience sharpened by years of moments like this. The officer finally hands back the card, his fingers lingering a second too long. "Are you sure? You live here?" Harlan presses, voice softer now, almost questioning himself. Malik's reply is simple. "I'm sure." The distance between them grows, not in steps, but in understanding. The officer glances at the house, then at Malik, the realization settling in. He's crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. Malik slips the ID back into his wallet, his movements calm, unhurried. Harlan's authority has cracked, the power dynamic shifting in the quiet. The neighborhood remains still, but the air feels different. Malik stands taller, the truth now undeniable. Harlan for the first time looks away. Harlan sits in his patrol car, the glow of the computer screen reflecting off his face. He types Malik's name, fingers tapping faster than his heartbeat. The search result pops up. Malik Turner, District Attorney. Harlan's eyes widened, color draining from his cheeks. The badge on his chest feels like a stone. He glances in the rearview mirror, watching Malik stand calmly on the curb, posture unshaken. Harlan's hand trembles as he reaches for the radio, then thinks better of it. The realization settles in he's not just dealing with another driver. He's facing the city's new DA. The weight of every decision, every word, presses down on him. A dispatcher's voice crackles over the radio, but Harlan barely hears it. He scrolls through Malik's profile, reading the titles, the accolades, the news links. His throat tightens. For a moment, he considers stepping out, offering an apology, but pride keeps him rooted in the seat. Malik meets his gaze through the windshield, expression unreadable. There's no anger, no fear, just a quiet knowing. Harlan looks away first, his authority slipping further. He fumbles with the paperwork, hands suddenly clumsy. The screen's light feels harsh, exposing everything. He finally prints a warning, unable to justify anything harsher. As he steps out, the paper shakes in his grip. Malik accepts it with a nod, eyes never leaving Harlan's. The exchange is brief, but the message is clear. The system that once protected Harlan now holds him accountable. Harlan returns to his car, closing the door with more force than needed. Malik remains on the sidewalk, watching as the patrol car pulls away. For Harlan, the drive back is silent, the realization echoing louder than any siren. Everything has changed. The memory flickers to life as Malik sits in his parked car, eyes unfocused, the night's tension still clinging to his chest. He's a boy again, small in the back seat, watching his father's hands settle at 10 and two on the steering wheel. The car's quiet except for the hum of the engine and the distant sound of a siren. Malik's father glances in the rear view, catching his son's gaze. "Just stay still, Malik," his father whispers, voice low but steady. Outside, a police officer's flashlight bounces off the window, illuminating Malik's face for an instant before turning to his father. The officer's questions are sharp, but Malik's father answers each one with practiced calm. "Yes, officer. No, sir. Everything's in the glove box." His mother's hand finds his knee, squeezing gently. Malik's heart pounds as the officer circles the car, the beam of light searching for a reason. The officer's tone is clipped, but his father never raises his voice. Each answer is measured, every movement slow. Malik notices the way his father's fingers grip the wheel, knuckles pale, jaw set in quiet resolve. The officer finally hands back the license and registration, offering no apology, just a nod before walking away. The car sits in the darkness a moment longer. His father exhales, shoulders dropping. "You always keep your hands where they can see them," he says, voice tired. "It's not about what you did. It's about what they see." Malik nods, the lesson settling deep, a quiet ache that never leaves. The memory fades, but the feeling lingers, shaping every encounter that follows. Malik blinks, returning to the present, his father's words echoing in his mind. The past and present blur, the fear and resolve now his own. Laughter bounces off the tiled walls, sharp and careless. Harlan leans against an open locker, swapping stories with two other officers. One mimics a nervous driver, hands raised, voice mocking. The others snicker, tossing towels into a bin. A rookie, uniform crisp, stands at the edge, smiles uncertainly, shifting from foot to foot. "Guy said he was just coming from work," Harlan says, rolling his eyes. "Sure he was." He tosses his badge onto the bench, the metal clinking. The rookie forces a laugh, glancing at the sergeant, who offers a quick nod of approval. Another officer pulls out a phone, scrolling through a group chat filled with citywide memes and inside jokes. The rookie's laughter fades, replaced by a quiet frown as he folds his arms. A stack of complaint forms sits on a shelf, some edges curled, a few marked with red ink. One is half crumpled, the handwriting neat but desperate. No one mentions it. Harlan grabs a water bottle, taking a long drink, then wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. "You just gotta know who to watch," he mutters, voice low but certain. The rookie's gaze lingers on the complaint forms, then flickers to Harlan. He hesitates, then shoves his hands into his pockets, blending into the background. The sergeant slaps Harlan on the back, grinning. "You'll get another commendation, don't worry." The group disperses, leaving the rookie alone, staring at the locker's scratched door. The laughter fades, replaced by the hum of a vending machine. The rookie exhales, shoulders tense. He glances once more at the complaint forms before closing his locker, the click echoing in the empty room. Outside, the station's lights glow, but inside the atmosphere is heavy, the air thick with things left unsaid. A folded letter sits on the break room table, its edges worn from being handled too many times. The janitor, Mr. Daniels, moves quietly through the room, collecting stray cups and wiping down counters. Officers enter, their conversation fading as they notice him. Harlan glances at the letter, then at Daniels, a flicker of annoyance crossing his face. Daniels sets his keys on the table, hands trembling slightly. He clears his throat, voice barely above a whisper. 15 years. Never missed a shift. No one responds. The sergeant scrolls through his phone, pretending not to hear. Daniels looks around, searching for a familiar face, but finds only blank stares and forced indifference. He picks up the letter, unfolding it with care. "Yesterday you searched my locker." No explanation, just suspicion. His eyes meet Harlan's for a moment, but Harlan looks away, jaw clenched. The rookie officer shifts uncomfortably, glancing at his shoes. Daniels continues. "I cleaned your messes. You never even learned my name." He places the letter back on the table, sliding it toward the sergeant. The room is silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. Daniels gathers his things, a faded lunchbox, a set of worn gloves. The rookie offers a hesitant nod, but Daniels doesn't see it. Harlan mutters, "Just doing our job." But the words fall flat. The sergeant picks up the letter, skims it, then tucks it into a drawer marked "Resolved." Daniels walks out, the door swinging shut behind him. His keycard will stop working by noon. The officers resume their conversation, but the mood has shifted. The rookie lingers by the door, watching Daniels disappear down the hall. The room feels emptier, the weight of what just happened settling over everyone. The janitor's absence is louder than any accusation. Stacks of folders cover Zoe Alvarez's desk, each one marked with dates, names, and traffic stop reports. She flips through the pages, red pen circling numbers, her brow furrowed in concentration. The hum of her desk lamp is the only sound as she scans line after line. Black drivers, same streets, same officers. Malik Turner's name appears, then his father's, then his cousin's, all in the same handwriting. She pauses, tapping her pen against the table. Her editor pokes his head in, voice low. "You see a pattern yet?" Zoe nods, not looking up. "It's not just a pattern, it's a blueprint." She pulls out a map, pins marking intersections. The clusters are impossible to ignore. She jots a note. 85% stops black drivers. Her phone buzzes with another tip, a mother's voice shaky on the voicemail. "They pulled my son over again. No reason." Zoe opens a new document, typing the headline, "Policing While Black, a City's Open Secret." She hesitates, then scrolls through old emails, complaints, apologies, promises of change. None of them led anywhere. She highlights Malik's name, tracing the connections. Each red circle is a story, a family, a warning passed down. She prints a page, hands trembling just a little. The newsroom is busy, but no one interrupts her focus. She pins the headline above her desk, staring at it. The weight of the evidence presses in, heavy and undeniable. The city's secrets aren't hidden. They're documented, filed, and quietly filed away. Zoe leans back, rubbing her eyes. She knows what comes next. More calls, more stories, more families hoping someone will finally listen. She clicks save, the cursor blinking at the end of the headline. The truth is there, waiting to be told. Malik sits at his kitchen table, phone glowing in his palm. The draft of his post stares back at him, cursor blinking in the dark. His mother's voice lingers from their last call, gentle but worried. "Be careful, son. They'll make you pay for speaking up." He glances at the framed photo of his father, hands folded, gaze steady even in memory. His thumb hovers over post. He rereads his words. Stopped again. No reason. Same street, same badge. He hesitates, breath shallow, the weight of history pressing on his chest. Malik's wife enters, setting a cup of tea beside him. She squeezes his shoulder, silent support passing between them. He looks up, searching her face for doubt, but finds only resolve. Outside, a car passes, headlights sweeping across the window. Malik's heart pounds. He remembers his father's warning. "They'll find a way to twist your story." He closes his eyes, listening to the quiet house, the distant hum of the city. The fear is real, but so is the anger. He taps share. The post goes live, Malik's face illuminated by the screen. Within seconds, notifications flood in. Likes, comments, messages from friends and strangers. Someone reposts it with the hashtag #OnDrivingWhileBlack. His phone vibrates non-stop, the story no longer just his own. Malik leans back, exhaling slowly. His wife sits beside him, hand in his. He watches the numbers climb, each one a voice joining his. The risk is real, but so is the hope. For the first time, Malik feels the tide turning, the power shifting. He's not alone. The storm has started, and he's chosen to stand in it. Screens glow on porches up and down Malek Street. Neighbors leaning over fences, phones in hand. Mrs. Harris, gray hair pulled back, shakes her head as she scrolls. Again? She mutters, voice tight. Her grandson, hoodie pulled low, watches a video of Malik's post, eyes wide. "That's our block," he says, almost whispering. Across the street, Mr. Lee sets down his newspaper, joining his wife at the window. "It happened to Marcus last week," she says, voice trembling. "He never told you?" Mr. Lee shakes his head, anger flickering in his eyes. A group of teens huddle on the corner, one girl live streaming, her voice breaking as she says, "This is why we're scared. This is why we film." A police cruiser rolls by, engine rumbling. Conversations pause, eyes tracking the car until it turns the corner. The tension lingers, heavy and unspoken. Malik's post keeps spreading, the hashtag multiplying. Stories pour in. A father stopped. On his way to work, a mother followed home from the grocery store. Each story echoes the last, a chorus of, "Me too." A young boy clutches his bike, asking his mother, "Will they stop me when I'm big?" She hugs him, words caught in her throat. The neighborhood feels smaller, tighter, as if everyone is holding their breath. The sense of injustice is no longer quiet. It's shared, whispered from porch to porch, picked up by every phone and every heart. The night grows deeper, but the conversations don't fade. Malik's name is on everyone's lips, not as a victim, but as a spark. The city is awake now, and the story is no longer just his. It belongs to all of them. Officer Chen lingers in the locker room long after her shift ends, fingers tracing the outline of a small USB drive hidden in her uniform pocket. The room is empty except for the low hum of a vending machine and the echo of laughter that used to fill the space. She glances at the row of lockers, each one a silent witness to secrets kept. Her phone buzzes, a news alert about Malik's post. Chen's hands tremble as she pulls the drive out, the bodycam footage heavy in her palm. She replays the moment in her mind. Harlan's voice, sharp and dismissive. Malik's calm, unwavering. The injustice gnaws at her, louder than any order she's ever received. Chen slips the drive into a padded envelope, scribbling the journalist's address with shaky handwriting. She hesitates, heart pounding, then seals it shut. As she leaves, the station. She passes Harlan in the hallway. He nods, oblivious, already lost in his own world. Chen's steps quicken, resolving hardening with each stride. At the mailbox, she pauses, fingers hovering over the slot. Her breath catches. She remembers her academy oath: protect and serve. With a final push, she drops the envelope inside. The clang of metal is sharp, final. Across town, Zoe Alvarez receives the package, surprise flickering across her face. She plugs in the drive, watching the footage unfold. Harlan's authority, Malik's restraint, the truth laid bare. Her hands shake as she hits upload, the video spreading faster than she can process. Within hours, the clip is everywhere. News feeds, group chats, city forums. Chen sits in her car, watching the views climb, her guilt replaced by a quiet sense of justice. The code of silence is broken. The city holds its breath, waiting for what comes next. The city courthouse buzzes with reporters, cameras flashing, as Malik straightens his tie in the hallway. His mother stands beside him, pride and worry mingling in her eyes. "You ready?" she asks quietly. Malik nods, voice steady. "I have to be." The doors swing open, and the crowd hushes as he enters. The mayor greets him with a handshake, smile tight. "Congratulations, District Attorney Turner." Malik's grip is firm, his gaze unwavering. As he steps to the podium, a phone vibrates in the front row. A reporter glances down, eyes widening at the headline. Bodycam footage leaked, DA profiled. Hours before swearing in. The news ripples through the room. Protesters gather outside, holding signs, their chants muffled but insistent. Malik's wife catches his eye, nodding encouragement. He begins his oath, voice clear, each word echoing off marble walls. Cameras zoom in, capturing every detail, the set of his jaw, the steadiness in his hands. Harlan sits at home, television flickering, beer can dented in his grip. He watches Malik's face fill the screen, the caption scrolling. Justice takes the stand. Harlan's jaw clenches, knuckles white around the can. The footage plays again, his own voice, his own actions. Now public record. Inside the courthouse, the mayor's smile fades as the crowd murmurs. Malik finishes the oath, applause swelling. Outside, the chants grow louder, fists raised in solidarity. The city feels on edge, history shifting beneath their feet. Malik steps down, his mother squeezing his hand. "You did it," she whispers. He nods, eyes scanning the crowd. The moment is heavy, but Malik stands tall, the weight of the city's hope and anger pressing in. The badge is his now, but so is the burden. The steps of City Hall are crowded, students linking arms, banners waving in the evening breeze. Malik's name is everywhere, on cardboard signs, in whispered conversations, splashed across trending hashtags. Reverend Price stands at the front, megaphone in hand, his voice booming. "We demand dignity. We demand change." The crowd answers, voices rising together. Council members peek through tinted windows, faces tense. Inside, phones buzz with alerts, donors threatening to pull support, journalists requesting statements. One councilwoman rubs her temples, muttering, "It's never been this loud." Another checks the live stream, Malik's face filling the screen, silent but resolute. A group of teens films the protest, their commentary raw. "This isn't just about one stop," a girl says, her voice shaking. "It's about all of us." Her friend nods, wiping away tears. The police presence is heavy, officers posted at every entrance, hands resting on belts. Some shift uneasily, eyes darting to the crowd, unsure whether to intervene or simply watch. Malik's post continues to spread. The hashtag Wash driving while black, now joined by Daesh Justice for All. A father lifts his son onto his shoulders, pointing to the banners. "Remember this," he says softly. "This is what standing up looks like." The boy nods, eyes wide, soaking in the moment. Inside, the council chambers are tense. A staffer whispers, "Should we bring him in?" Another shakes her head. "Not yet." The mayor sits stone-faced, watching the numbers climb on his phone. The city feels different, alive, restless, waiting. As dusk settles, the chants grow louder. Malik's image glows on every screen, his silence more powerful than any speech. The crowd holds its ground, a living testament to collective resolve. Tonight, the halls of power echo with the voices of those who refuse to be quiet. Chief McCoy paces his office, sweat beading at his hairline as he shuffles through a pile of old manuals and training binders. The television on his desk plays the protest outside City Hall, chants drifting through the cracked window. His phone buzzes non-stop, calls from city officials, emails from the press, messages from worried officers. He snaps at his assistant. "Get me on the public relations team now." The PR manager enters, voice trembling. "We need a statement. People want answers." McCoy slams a folder shut, frustration boiling over. "What do I say? That we let this happen? That we never listened?" He glances at a commendation plaque, its shine dulled by dust. The room feels smaller, the air heavy with blame. A sergeant knocks, holding a stack of complaints, some marked urgent. "Sir, the files, they're everywhere. The news has them. The Alvarez article is trending." McCoy snatches the papers, flipping through them, eyes widening as he sees familiar names and dates. "Find something on Harlan," he orders, voice hoarse. "Anything. We need a scapegoat." The sergeant hesitates, shifting his weight. "Sir, the footage is out. It's not just Harlan. It's all of us." McCoy's jaw tightens, the realization settling in. The system he controlled is unraveling, the cracks spreading faster than he can patch them. Outside, the chants grow louder. Inside, the chief's hands shake as he shreds a stack of outdated training guides, the strips falling like confetti. The PR manager watches in silence, doubt flickering in her eyes. The chief slumps in his chair, the weight of years of denial pressing down. For the first time, he wonders if the department can ever be the same. Harlan stands at his living room window, watching as a neighbor across the street pulls her child closer and turns away. The TV blares news of protests and leaked footage, his name scrolling across the ticker. He lowers the volume, but the noise inside his head only grows. His wife moves through the house, suitcase in hand. Her voice clipped. "I'm staying with my sister." He tries to speak, but she's already at the door, keys jingling. The door shuts with a dull thud. He wanders to the kitchen, phone buzzing with missed calls and unread messages. A few are from old friends, most from reporters. He scrolls, thumb trembling, stopping at a message from Internal Affairs. "Report at 9 a.m. He deletes it, then stares at the empty screen. The house feels cavernous, every room echoing with memories of certainty, now replaced by doubt. In the hallway, his uniform hangs limp on a hook, the badge dull in the morning light. Harlan runs a hand over his jaw, stubble rough beneath his palm. He catches his reflection in the hall mirror, a face he barely recognizes, eyes rimmed with exhaustion. The laughter from the locker room, the easy confidence, all gone. A car passes, outside, slowing as it nears his house. The driver doesn't wave. Harlan steps back from the window, heart pounding. He moves to the bedroom, sits on the edge of the bed, hands clasped. The silence is thick, broken only by the distant sound of chanting from downtown. He closes his eyes, the weight of every decision settling on his shoulders. For the first time, Harlan feels truly alone, the walls closing in. Malik sits at his new desk, sunlight streaming over stacks of documents and a laptop open to the leaked footage. His team gathers around, faces tense but hopeful. Malik rewinds the video, watching Harlan's actions frame by frame. He doesn't raise his voice. "We let the facts speak," he says quietly, fingers tapping the table. A junior attorney, nerves showing in her shaky hands, asks, "Should we hold a press conference?" Malik shakes his head. "No speeches, no drama. We show the evidence and we move forward." Another staffer, older and skeptical, leans back, arms crossed. "You think that's enough?" Malik meets his gaze, steady. "It has to be." He drafts a memo. Mandatory body cameras, community oversight, new reporting channels. He slides it across the table. "This goes out today." The team reads in silence, the weight of change settling in. Malik's phone buzzes, a message from his mother. "Proud of you. Stay safe." He smiles just a little, then returns to work. A photo sits on his desk, young Malik beside his father, both with hands raised. He glances at it, resolving sharpening. "We're not here to punish. We're here to fix what's broken." Lucas, junior attorney, nods, inspired. The older staffer finally uncrosses his arms, a reluctant respect in his eyes. Malik stands, gathering the team's attention. "We do this by the book, no shortcuts." He looks around the room, seeing their doubt and their hope. "We've been ready, now so are you." The team disperses, each person carrying a piece of the new vision. As the office empties, Malik lingers at the window, the city skyline glowing. He knows the road ahead is long, but for the first time, it feels possible. The work has begun, and this time, the truth leads. The press room is packed, cameras blinking red, reporters whispering over notepads. Malik steps to the podium, his suit crisp, eyes scanning the crowd. He doesn't clear his throat or shuffle his notes. Instead, he lays a folder on the stand, opening it with careful hands. The room quiets, anticipation thick. He holds up a printed, still from the leaked footage, placing it beside a stack of traffic stop data. "This is what we've seen. This is what's been hidden," he says, voice even. No grandstanding, no anger. Just the facts laid bare. A reporter in the front row leans forward, pen poised. Malik meets her gaze, then looks to the next, letting the silence settle. Harlan sits near the back, shoulders hunched, sweat beading at his hairline. He shifts in his seat, eyes darting to the exits. Malik's team stands along the wall, each person holding a different piece of evidence: letters, statistics, photos. One staffer, a quiet analyst, clutches a resignation letter from a former janitor, knuckles white. A reporter finally breaks the quiet. Will there be consequences? Malik's answer is measured. There will be accountability, but first, there will be truth. He doesn't elaborate. The audience waits, but Malik lets the moment stretch, the weight of what's been revealed filling the space. As the cameras flash, Malik closes the folder, sliding it to the side. He steps away from the mic, leaving the evidence in plain view. The crowd murmurs, but no one interrupts. Harlan lowers his head, the realization settling in. Malik's restraint is louder than any accusation. The press conference ends not with applause, but with a heavy, thoughtful pause. Malik exits, his team following, the truth left behind for all to see. A long table stretches beneath harsh fluorescent lights, city officials shifting in their chairs as Malik enters, folders tucked under his arm. He doesn't wait for introductions. He slides a stack of documents across the polished surface, each one landing with a soft thud. Chief McCoy stiffens, eyes narrowing as he recognizes faces in the photos. Malik's father, hands raised. A janitor's resignation letter. A spreadsheet of stops by race. Malik speaks plainly. This isn't new, it's just been ignored. He opens a folder, revealing a timeline of complaints, each one stamped and filed, never acted on. A councilwoman's pen slips from her fingers, clattering to the floor. She bends to retrieve it, face flushed. Another official coughs, breaking the tension, but no one meets Malik's eyes. Chief McCoy glances at his commendation plaque, the gold dulled by dust. "We followed the rules," he mutters, voice thin. Malik doesn't flinch. Rules aren't justice, they're just habits. A young board member, barely out of college, flips through the documents, jaw set. "How did we let this happen?" he whispers to the woman beside him. Malik's team stands at the back, silent but present. One analyst taps a finger nervously. On a notebook, another folds her arms, lips pressed tight. The room feels smaller with every page turned, the evidence undeniable. The mayor clears his throat, but the words die before they leave his mouth. Malik closes the last folder, letting the quiet linger. "You can't excuse what you refuse to see." The statement hangs in the air, heavier than any accusation. The boardroom, once a sanctuary for excuses, now feels exposed, every secret laid bare beneath the cold lights. Harlan sits at the edge of the boardroom, badge resting on the table in front of him. He runs his thumb over the tarnished metal, the once proud shine dulled by fingerprints and time. His mind drifts to the locker room, the laughter, the easy camaraderie that now feels like a distant memory. He glances around, searching for a friendly face, but finds only averted eyes and stiff postures. A councilman coughs, shifting his chair away. Malik stands at the head of the table, silent, letting the evidence speak. Harlan's fingers tremble as he reaches for a glass of water, nearly spilling it. The badge feels heavier than ever, a reminder of both authority and the burden it now carries. A junior official leans toward Harlan, voice barely above a whisper. "They're not going to cover for you." Harlan swallows hard, jaw clenched. He remembers the commendations, the handshakes, the sense of belonging. Now, every glance feels like a judgment, every pause a verdict. Malik's eyes settle on Harlan, not with anger, but with a quiet certainty that leaves no room for denial. Harlan looks down at the badge, the symbol of his career, and wonders when it stopped meaning pride and started meaning shame. He tries to steady his breathing, but his chest feels tight. A staff member at the far end of the table closes a file with finality, the sound echoes, drawing every eye. Harlan's badge slips from his hand, clattering onto the table. No one moves to pick it up. He stares at it, the silence pressing in, realizing that the weight he feels is not just metal, but consequence. Malik stands at the head of the table, gaze fixed on Harlan. The room is motionless, every official and staff member caught in the tension. Malik's voice is calm, each word deliberate. "You built this. Now watch it bury you." The statement lands. Heavy, no anger, just fact. A reporter's pen scratches furiously, capturing the moment. Harlan's jaw twitches, his eyes darting from Malik to the badge still lying on the table. A council member's hand snaps a pencil in two, the sound sharp in the quiet. The mayor shifts in his seat, lips pressed tight, unwilling to meet anyone's eyes. Malik doesn't move, letting the words settle, their meaning unmistakable. Harlan's shoulders slump, the bravado gone, replaced by a raw uncertainty. A young analyst at the far end of the table bites her lip, glancing between Malik and Harlan. She closes her laptop, the click loud in the stillness. Harlan tries to speak, but no words come. He looks at the badge, then at Malik, realization dawning that the power he relied on has slipped away. Malik's team stands behind him, silent support radiating through the room. The councilman who coughed earlier now sits with hands folded, face pale. Malik's eyes never leave Harlan's, the message clear. Accountability has arrived, and there's nowhere left to hide. Outside, the faint sound of protesters chanting filters through the windows, their voices growing stronger. Inside, no one interrupts. Malik steps back, giving the room space to absorb the shift. Harlan lowers his head, the truth undeniable. The system has turned on itself, and Malik's restraint is the final verdict. Harlan's hand rises to his collar, tugging at the fabric as if it's suddenly too tight. Sweat beads at his hairline, trickling down his temple. His uniform, once a symbol of authority, now feels like a costume he can't wait to shed. He glances at the badge on the table, its presence a silent accusation. The room's attention lingers on him, but no one offers comfort. A teenager in the front row lifts her phone, recording the moment. Her eyes are red, but her expression is fierce. Malik stands nearby, arms folded, his face unreadable. Harlan's fingers fumble with his tie, the knot slipping loose. He wipes his brow, leaving a faint streak across his cheek. A councilwoman whispers to her colleague. He looks lost. The colleague nods, not taking his eyes off Harlan. The staff at the back exchange glances, some uneasy, others quietly satisfied. The air is thick with judgment, and something like relief. Harlan's breath comes faster. He tries to straighten his shoulders, but the effort falters. He looks at Malik, searching for anger or pity, but finds only resolve. The badge glints under the harsh lights, a reminder of everything he's lost. The teen's phone captures every detail. The loosened tie, the trembling hands, the way Harlan's confidence has drained away. She whispers to her friend, "This is what justice looks like." Malik doesn't react, letting the scene play out. A staff member closes the blinds, shutting out the noise from the street. The room grows quieter still. Harlan's uniform hangs, awkwardly on his frame, the authority it once held slipping away with every second. He lowers his head, defeated, as the reality of his unraveling settles in. Malik stands before the assembled officials, his presence steady, voice measured. He announces the new policies: body cameras required on every officer, independent oversight for all complaints, transparent reporting to the public. The mayor, eager to be seen on the right side of history, quickly signs the order, pen scratching across the page. A ripple of surprise moves through the room. A black officer in the back rises, applause starting with her and spreading slowly. Others join, some clapping with conviction, others with hesitation. The chief sits slumped in his chair, the fight gone from his posture. Malik's team exchanges glances of cautious hope, the significance of the moment not lost on them. A councilman leans toward a colleague, whispering, "This changes everything." The colleague nods, eyes never leaving Malik. The mayor hands the signed order to Malik, who accepts it with a nod, no triumph in his expression, just a quiet resolve. Harlan, still seated, stares at the floor. His hands are clasped tightly, knuckles white. He doesn't look up as the applause swells. The badge remains on the table, untouched. Malik glances at it, then addresses the room. "This is just the beginning. We will rebuild from here." The applause fades, replaced by a sense of anticipation. Malik's words linger, the promise of real change hanging in the air. The staff begins to gather documents, the meeting's tone transformed from confrontation to cautious optimism. Malik steps back, letting others take the lead, his role now that of a guide rather than an adversary. As the room empties, the new policies pinned to the bulletin board, Malik remains for a moment, taking in the shift. The system has bent, not broken, and for the first time, it feels like justice might hold. Harlan rises from his seat, shoulders hunched, eyes fixed on the floor. The room's chatter fades as he moves toward the exit, every step echoing against polished tile. Reporters surge forward, microphones outstretched. "Officer Harlan, any comment?" He shields his face with a trembling hand, voice barely audible. No comment. Rain drums against the glass doors as he steps outside, uniform clinging to his skin. The crowd parts, but not out of respect, out of discomfort. A protester blocks his path, holding a sign inches from his chest. "Accountability now." Harlan hesitates, unsure whether to push past or step aside. The protester's gaze never wavers. Malik watches from the lobby, arms crossed, expression unreadable. Harlan glances back just once, meeting Malik's eyes. There's no anger, only finality. The patrol car waits at the curb, its presence more prison than refuge. Harlan climbs in, hands shaking as he grips the wheel. The badge remains inside, forgotten on the boardroom table. A young officer at the door watches Harlan leave, jaw set, then turns away, returning to the group inside. The rain intensifies, blurring the city lights. Harlan sits in the car, head bowed, breath fogging the windshield. The world outside moves on, indifferent to his shame. Inside, the meeting resumes. Malik's reforms, now the focus. No one mentions Harlan. His absence is noted only by the empty chair and the badge left behind. The power that once shielded him has vanished, replaced by a quiet, irreversible judgment. As Harlan drives away, the protester lowers their sign, watching the car disappear into the night. The city feels changed, the old order washed away by the storm. A projector hums as the lights dim, casting a childhood photo of Malik onto the wall. His small hands raised beside his father, both faces solemn but unbroken. The room falls silent. Reporters lower their pens. Council members shift in their seats. Malik stands at the front, voice softer now. "We've waited lifetimes for this." A grandmother in the audience wipes her eyes, whispering to her granddaughter, "That's why we march." The young girl nods, gaze fixed on the image. In the back, a staffer snaps a photo of the projection, sending it to friends with a single word: "Finally." The picture trends online within minutes, side by side with a shot of Harlan's badge left behind. Malik's team stands together, some with hands clasped, others with arms folded, each feeling the weight of the moment. A councilwoman leans toward her colleague, voice trembling. "This is history." The colleague nods, unable to look away from the screen. Outside, protesters watch the live stream on their phones, the image reflected in rain-soaked streets. A father lifts his son onto his shoulders, pointing at the screen. "That's what courage looks like," he says quietly. The boy's eyes are wide, hope flickering in his expression. Malik lets the silence linger, letting the photo speak louder than any speech. The crowd absorbs the message, a lineage of struggle, a promise of change. Harlan's absence is felt, but no one mentions him. The focus is on what's been reclaimed, not what's been lost. As the lights come back up, Malik steps away from the podium, the image still glowing behind him. The city feels different. The past and future joined in a single, undeniable moment. Officers file out of the meeting room, footsteps muffled on the carpet. Some walk with heads high, others with shoulders slumped, avoiding each other's gaze. A black officer pauses at the doorway, removing her cap and nodding at Malik, a small gesture, but one that carries the weight of solidarity. Malik returns the nod, his face composed, but his eyes glint with gratitude. A veteran officer lingers by his locker, staring at a faded photo of his academy class. He sighs, pulling out his phone to scroll through old group chats. One by one, he deletes them, thumb hovering over each name. Across the room, a rookie types a resume on her phone, glancing up nervously as the sergeant walks by. The sergeant offers a curt nod, then keeps moving, the old camaraderie replaced by uncertainty. The locker room, once filled with laughter and banter, is now quiet. A few officers exchange glances, some defiant, others ashamed. The air is thick, with endings and beginnings. In the hallway, a staff member removes outdated posters, rolling them up and tossing them into a bin. Another pins up a flyer for the new oversight committee, hands shaking slightly. Outside, the rain has stopped. Officers step into the damp air, some joining the crowd, others slipping away alone. The divide is visible, those ready for change, those resisting it, and those simply lost. Malik watches from the window, seeing the department's future reshaping itself in real time. A final group leaves together, not speaking, but united in their resolve to do better. The building empties, the echoes of the past fading as new voices prepare to fill the space. The department is no longer what it was, and everyone feels the shift. Malik steps out of the building into the cool night, the city quiet after a day of upheaval. The air feels lighter, the tension that once gripped every corner now replaced by a cautious peace. He walks toward the street, passing a small group of teens gathered beneath a street lamp. One of them, wide-eyed and earnest, calls out, "How'd you keep it together?" Malik pauses, a gentle smile breaking his usual reserve. He crouches to their level, voice steady. Anger burns fast. Justice lasts. The teens nod, some recording on their phones, others just listening. One girl, clutching a notebook, scribbles down his words. Malik stands, offering a reassuring nod before moving on. Behind him, the courthouse glows, windows lit from within. Inside, staff finish pinning new policies to the bulletin board, their voices subdued but hopeful. A janitor sweeps the hallway, pausing to read the headline on a posted flyer, "Oversight Committee formed." He smiles just a little before returning to his work. Malik's phone buzzes with messages. Congratulations, gratitude, questions about what comes next. He silences it, choosing instead to listen to the city's new rhythm. A passing car slows, the driver raising a fist in quiet salute. Malik acknowledges it with a nod, the simple exchange speaking volumes. He stops at the edge of the sidewalk, looking back at the courthouse, the symbol of old power now transformed by new resolve. The night is still, but it's not empty. There's a sense of possibility, a calm that comes only after a storm has passed. Malik exhales, shoulders relaxing. The fight isn't over, but for the first time, justice feels real. And the city, at last, is ready to believe it. Harlan sits alone in a corner booth at a nearly empty diner, the fluorescent lights casting harsh shadows across the cracked vinyl. Seats. His coffee grows cold, untouched as he scrolls through his phone. News of Malik's reforms fills every feed, body cams, oversight, and new leadership. He watches a clip of the press conference, Malik's calm voice echoing in his mind. The waitress passes by, refilling his cup without a word or a glance. He glances up, searching the room for a familiar face, but finds only strangers who quickly look away. A couple at the counter whispers, one of them shooting a brief, uneasy glance in his direction. Harlan lowers his gaze, stirring his coffee with a trembling hand. Notifications pile up on his phone. Missed calls from the department, a message from Internal Affairs, a string of news alerts with his name in the headline. He tries to focus on the crossword in front of him, but the words blur. The TV above the counter plays a news segment about the city's changes. Malik's face appears again, the caption reading, "Justice through restraint." Harlan's jaw tightens as he listens to the reporter describe the reforms, the city's cautious hope, the badge left behind. The waitress returns, clearing a plate from the next table. She pauses, offering a polite smile, but it doesn't reach her eyes. Harlan nods, but she's already gone. He scrolls through old photos, locker room celebrations, award ceremonies, faces that once meant belonging. Now, each image feels distant, part of a world that has closed its doors. He sips the cold coffee, the bitterness lingering. Outside, the city moves on without him. Harlan sits in the fading light, realizing that what he lost wasn't just a badge, but the respect he once took for granted. Malik walks the cracked sidewalk of his old neighborhood, hands tucked in his pockets, the evening sun painting long shadows across familiar stoops. He nods to Mrs. Harris, who sits on her porch, knitting quietly. She looks up, eyes softening. "We're proud of you, Malik," she says, voice steady. He smiles, pausing, to greet a group of teens clustered near the corner store. One boy, taller than the rest, steps forward. "Is it true? You changed the rules?" Malik nods, meeting each gaze in turn. "It's a start," he replies. "The real change comes from what you do next." The teens listen, some skeptical, others hopeful. A girl with braids asks, "Was it hard?" Malik's answer is honest. "Harder than I thought, but worth it." A basketball bounces in the street, echoing off brick walls. Malik glances at the faded mural on the rec center, remembering afternoons spent there with his father. He tells the teens about those days, about lessons learned in both joy and fear. "You have to know your rights," he says, "but you also have to know your worth." A young man, hoodie zipped tight, asks, "What if nothing changes?" Malik crouches, lowering his voice. "Then you keep pushing. You keep showing up. That's how things move." The group falls silent, the weight of his words settling in. Mrs. Harris calls out, "You come by more often, you hear?" Malik laughs, promising he will. As he walks on, the teens disperse, some already sharing what they heard. The neighborhood feels different, still scarred, but now seated with possibility. Malik glances back, the block alive with cautious hope. For the first time, he believes the next generation might not have to fight the same battles. Inside the precinct, officers gather in a bright, unfamiliar room, the walls lined with posters of local leaders and community events. The new chief stands at the front, voice clear but gentle. "We begin again today. Everyone here is accountable." Some officers sit upright, pens poised, eager for a fresh start. Others lean back, arms crossed, skepticism etched in their faces. Rookie in the second row raises her hand, voice trembling. "What happens if someone breaks the new rules?" The chief meets her eyes, answering without hesitation. "There will be consequences. No exceptions." The old guard at the back exchanged glances, one tapping his foot, another drumming fingers on a notepad. The room is tense, the past hanging over every word. A training officer distributes new manuals, pages crisp and unmarked. A veteran flips through his copy, pausing at a section on community oversight. He sighs, but doesn't protest. The rookie reads intently, highlighting passages. At the side, a staff member pins a flyer for the oversight committee to a bulletin board. Hands shaking just a little. The chief continues, outlining new procedures, emphasizing transparency and respect. "This isn't just about following steps," she says. "It's about trust." A few officers nod. Others avoid her gaze. The air is thick with uncertainty, but also with the possibility of real change. As the session ends, officers file out quietly. The rookie lingers, turning to the chief. "Thank you," she says, voice small but sincere. The chief nods, offering a rare smile. The precinct feels different now, the old rhythms disrupted, the future uncertain but open. Outside, the The sun breaks through the clouds, casting light across the building's entrance. Inside, the department's new day has begun, truth and accountability finally taking root. Harlan sits at his kitchen table, laptop open, the blue glow reflecting off his tired face. He clicks refresh on his inbox, watching another rejection email appear. "Thank you for your interest." The words sting, each one a reminder that the doors he once walked through without question are now firmly shut. He scrolls through job listings, hands hovering over the keyboard, unsure what to try next. He types out an application for a security job, hesitates, then deletes it. The phone rings. It's an old friend from the force. Harlan answers, hopeful, but the conversation is brief and awkward. "Things are different now," his friend says, voice distant. "Not sure I can help." The call ends, leaving Harlan staring at the silent phone. Later, he walks through his neighborhood, passing people he used to greet with a nod. Some cross the street, others barely acknowledge him. He spots a former colleague at the corner store, but the man looks away, pretending to study the shelves. Harlan's footsteps feel heavier with every block. Back home, he checks his email again. Another rejection. He leans back, rubbing his temples, the weight of lost privilege settling in. The world has moved on, leaving him behind. The badge that once opened doors is just a memory now, and respect is something he can't reclaim with a title or a uniform. Harlan closes the laptop, the room quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator. He sits in stillness, realizing that power without purpose is empty, and that redemption, if it comes, will have to be earned. Harlan steps outside, jacket zipped against the wind, hoping for a familiar nod or a wave. Instead, neighbors cross to the opposite sidewalk, conversations fading as he approaches. At the coffee shop, the barista greets others by name, but hands Harlan his cup without a smile. He lingers by the window, watching old friends laugh at a table he once shared. Their glances skim over him, not hostile, just indifferent. He tries to join a conversation at the park, but the group shifts, making room for everyone but him. A mother gathers her children, murmuring, "Let's go," as Harlan sits on a nearby bench. The ache of exclusion settles deep, sharper than any reprimand. He remembers when his words carried weight, when people listened. Now his presence is met with averted eyes and unfinished sentences. At the grocery store, a former colleague stands in line ahead of him. The man turns, recognition flickering, then looks away, pretending to check his phone. The cashier offers a polite nod, but no small talk. Each interaction is brief, transactional, stripped of warmth. Harlan walks home, the city's noise distant, the world smaller than before. He passes a mural celebrating the community, Malik's face at its center, surrounded by hopeful faces. Children play nearby, their laughter ringing out. Harlan pauses, watching, invisible in a place he once thought was his. He unlocks his door, stepping inside to silence. The circle that once included him has closed, and the streets that felt like home now feel foreign. Respect, he realizes, isn't something you can demand. It's something you have to earn, and, once lost, it's not easily found again. City Hall bustles with new energy as Malik's reforms begin to take hold. The police department welcomes a diverse group of new recruits, their uniforms crisp, faces determined. A civilian review board convenes for the first time. Citizens and officers seated side by side, listening and debating. The old guard watches, warily, but the atmosphere is different. Cautious but hopeful. At a community meeting, residents fill folding chairs, voices raised not in anger but in honest questions. A young officer explains the new procedures, her words confident. An elder from the neighborhood nods, finally feeling heard. The room buzzes with possibility. Traffic stops decrease, and reports of unfair treatment drop with them. The city's Teotihuacan local paper runs a headline, "A New Chapter for Justice." Malik attends a round table, listening more than he speaks. He encourages the board. "Keep us honest. Don't let us slip." A former skeptic on the council quietly admits, "I was wrong. This is working." The shift is slow but real. At roll call, officers discuss oversight openly, no longer whispering or rolling their eyes. In schools, students debate the changes in civics class. A teacher points to the mural downtown, asking, "What does justice look like now?" A girl raises her hand, smiling. "It looks like us." The city's pulse has changed. Trust, once broken, is being rebuilt. One small step at a time. Malik walks home after another long day, passing neighbors who greet him warmly. The reforms aren't perfect, but the ripples are spreading, touching lives in ways that statistics can't capture. For the first time in years, the system is bending toward fairness, and the city can feel it. A new mural stretches across the courthouse wall, colors bold and faces familiar. Malik stands at the center of the painting, surrounded by children, elders, and neighbors, hands linked in a chain of unity. The artist steps back, brush in hand, eyes shining with pride as a crowd gathers to watch the final strokes. People pause on their way to work, some snapping photos, others simply staring. An elderly man wipes away a tear, whispering, "We never thought we'd see this." School children point to the figures, recognizing themselves, their families, their dreams reflected in the art. A group of teens poses in front of the mural, laughter echoing down the block. Malik arrives quietly, nodding to the artist. The two exchange a look of understanding, no words needed. The mayor joins the gathering, offering a handshake and a rare, genuine smile. Community leaders share stories of struggle and hope, their voices weaving together in the morning air. A local reporter interviews a mother whose son is painted near Malik. She smiles, voice trembling. He's part of something bigger now. The mural becomes a meeting place, a backdrop for conversations about justice and belonging. The courthouse, once a symbol of fear for some, now feels open, transformed. As the sun sets, the mural glows in the fading light, its message clear. This city belongs to everyone. Children trace the painted hands, elders share memories, and neighbors linger long after dusk. Malik stands back, watching the community claim the space as their own. The mural is more than art. It's a promise, a reminder that change is possible, and that every face matters. The city's reflection has shifted, and for the first time, it feels whole. Malik stands before the mural as dusk settles, the city's noise softening around him. Children gather at his side, their eyes bright with questions. A teenager asks, "Did you ever want to give up?" Malik kneels, voice gentle but firm. "Sometimes, but change isn't loud. It starts small, grows stronger." A group of elders approach, one placing a hand on Malik's shoulder. "You gave us hope," she says, her words carrying the weight of years. Malik nods, humbled. The crowd grows, people from every corner of the city drawn by the mural's promise. Neighbors who once passed each other in silence now talk openly, sharing stories and dreams. A reporter records the moment. Microphone lowered as Malik turns to address the crowd. "Change doesn't roar," he says, his voice steady. "It whispers, then it rises." The words ripple through the group, repeated in quiet voices, carried down the block and into homes. The city listens, the message settling deep. Malik's phone buzzes with messages of thanks, but he pockets it, choosing to be present. Children trace the painted hands on the wall. Elders share memories of marches and setbacks. The mayor stands nearby, silent, understanding that this is not his moment, but the community's. As night falls, the mural glows under streetlights, a beacon for anyone seeking justice. Malik steps back, watching the city gather, the divisions of the past softened by shared hope. He feels the weight of his journey, but also the lightness of change taking root. The city is different now, not perfect, but moving forward. Malik's words echo long after the crowd disperses, a quiet promise that justice, once awakened, will not fade away.